Good day and welcome back to the Pin Podcast. Well, I should say, I'm back. I first off wanted to apologize for the little hiatus that came unexpectedly, but I'm back. And in case you haven't been here before, my name is Pinup Miami, and this is a Pin Podcast where we talk about modern topics with a vintage flair. And I try to bring you topics that have to do with vintage, modern life, because at the end of the day, I'm a modern girl that loves vintage things. So I consider myself modern with a vintage flair. And I'm sure a lot of my fellow vintage lovers, retro lovers, rockabilly, all feel the same way. That we don't want to live in the past. We want to live in the now. And before we get started, I want to talk about the sponsor for today's video, which is pinnedmeetups.com. It is a website where you can locally find pinups. Now, chapters are only in Florida right now. We have one in South Florida, Central Florida, and in Tampa. And it's all about creating meetups to create events that we can't find, us rockabilly vintage lovers, anybody. You don't have to be you could be a novice, you could be just interested in just showing up in one event because you find it interesting. It's open to everyone. So make sure to hit up pinnedmeetups.com. And if you want to start one in your hood, reach out to me. Just send me a DM, a question, email. I'm easy to contact. Now, before we also get started, I did want to apologize for the hiatus, and I wanted to explain to you guys why I haven't been posting any podcast episodes. And it truly, from the bottom of my heart, I'm truly sorry. And it's not even sorry. It's sorry to you guys and sorry to myself, because the only thing that has been keeping me up in the last year has been the podcasts. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to be honest with you guys and tell you guys that last year, and I'm sure a lot of you can agree that last year was a very difficult year for everyone. But mine was difficult in many ways, but in one way that I couldn't control was I have a job, and it really took the stress. And I thought about, should I be talking about this on my podcast? But I wanted to share my experience with everyone, because everyone might be going through what I'm going with, and I hope it motivates somebody, or you understand where I'm coming from. So if you've heard my podcast, you've heard me talk about the pillow company that I work for, and I'm very grateful because that's where I learned how to sew. I have met incredible ladies that sew there, that I was there for many, many years. And in the last year, I don't know if it was the owner. I had a scary moment, and it all started with one moment where now I look back and I should have reacted differently. But he came into the office one day and he was upset. And if you ask him why he was upset, it's so ridiculous. But nonetheless, he came in the office really angry and slammed his head on my desk. And it is a family-owned business, and I was scared. I've never had that scary feeling in my life. You know, if you know me, I try to let things just go. I really tried to let this go. But when I told his wife that I didn't feel comfortable, I'm telling you, I have never been scared. I thought this man was gonna hit me, and I've known him for so many years, but she just laughed it off, and it made me feel even worse that the next 2 days I told him I was leaving, and I had this throw up. I threw up, and they probably thought I was out on vacation or made some stupid excuse, but it was the worst feeling I've ever felt. And just to point out, he never apologized for what he did to me or how he made me feel, or even if I kind of mentioned it, it's like he threw it on the side. And then there were other instances that I felt like I was not being appreciated as an employee. And I know some of you out there work for small businesses, and I'm not saying that they're all the same, but at a certain point, I believe I got disrespected, and it just went on for too long that the workplace became hostile, not only for me, but for all the employees there. Like, I'm telling you, nobody wants to work there. And it's so sad to see a company that the owner himself had so much ambition when he started and then turned into this bitter, stressful environment that trickled down all the way down to the warehouse. Like, it was so toxic, and all I had to do, and I believe it's because he was in pain, and I tried to be understanding, but there's a certain point when you got to get out and you're not being respected as an employee, or they abuse you, or when you've worked there for many years and you ask for a raise and they just like pity you with 10-cent raise. I'm telling you, disrespectful. And I just fed it up because I was thinking, no, it's a good family, you know. No, I am telling you, it took me a while to realize. And it was actually my friends that, you know, they always tell me that I do so much, that I'm worth more. And I'm telling you, if I didn't have friends a couple years back, and now thanks to the pinned meetups, I have an incredible network of friends that motivate me and you know, put me in my place when I have to, but they never disrespect me. And I have to say that I've been truly blessed with the people I have found, and even like the support I have online has been immense. So in the last couple months, I've been looking for jobs, just putting it out there, not thinking that I'm going to leave, because, you know, once you get stuck in a place, and I think that's what happened to me, we get so complacent with where we're at that we're scared of change. And I believe that that's what happened to me. I was scared of changing. I was scared of doing something new, because I really had all my blog going, my sewing going, my events were on hold, but I had everything going for me that I really wanted to do it full time. So I was on the right path in being in this job, but I slowly realized like your mental health could kill you. And if you hear stories of other people around you, and please leave anything in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, or send me a DM with any stories that you have, because I want to know, like, how did you get out of that rut? And I know a few people out there are going through a rut, and I have to say, and by rut, I mean going through an emotional time. And to be honest, it feels like you're never going to get out of there. And I'm not out of that hole yet, but I'm slowly crawling out, and it feels like a whole weight has been lifted. So I started looking for interviews. I had one of my friends look over my resume. I couldn't do my thing, you know, full time because COVID, events canceled, you know. I run everything alone. I do my podcast. I edit my videos. I videotape myself. I even do my own photography for a lot of the posts on my Instagram. I'm a one-woman show. So that's the reason why I've been delayed. Even Pinups at the zoo. So I feel like I'm really behind on everything because, again, mental health is important, and I needed to take care of myself. And it all boiled down to this job that I felt like was scratching my soul away from me. And I know that sounds dramatic, but I'm telling you that I would go home crying. And the only thing that made me happy at the end of the day was this right here, this podcast that I have going, the support I've gotten from all you people. And it means the world. So when I say you guys mean the world, you guys mean the world to me. So I was able to like apply to many jobs. I could tell you right now, I applied to 198 jobs. Okay. And I know that a lot of people are hiring, or they're starting to open up and hiring, but I wanted to do something. I mean, I've been the manager in warehouses for the last couple of years, but I wanted to do something that I'm good at, that I know, which is social media. So I felt like I never thought I'd feel this way at this age, but I felt like the adult that was trying to look for a job that they only wanted young people for. You know, or felt like I was starting over because I've done social media. I've done a lot of things for brands, for myself. But when you put it on a resume that you worked on yourself, people start getting skeptical. Even though I have proof of everything, like the skills I have, the editing, I know how to use, you know, all these things. So I found it kind of hard. It was kind of tough. And then when you have interviews that call you for a second call, you start to think, shoot, but then I'm going to have to leave this and sacrifice that. And oh my God, so emotional. And then I found this job, and I have to say, I found this job at it was another warehouse, so I was kind of skeptical, and I applied for something I was not qualified, but at this point, I was applying to anything and everything I could, because honestly, after a couple months and not getting a job, I did get hired for a few jobs, but I declined them, either the schedule or it wasn't for me. It was like different things. When you get for a job, it's a two-way street. You have to like it and they have to like you, and it has to accommodate your lifestyle. And for me, I did have, you have your own, like, your definite yes, your definite no's. So I finally found a job that I was not qualified for, but honestly, when I left that interview, I felt something. I don't know if I don't believe in like things, but I felt something. I even cried after that interview. I was just so excited to step out of that room. I think I cried because I felt hope. Like, these people loved my stuff, like the content I made for Pinup Miami, the content I made for Pin South Florida, my podcast, like, they loved it. So I was able to, show them who I was and genuinely what I wanted for my future, the ideas I had for my career, and how I could implement it into their business. And I think they were impressed by that because 2 weeks later, I didn't hear back from them, and I didn't want to be like, hey, but 2 weeks later, they hired me. Well, it took longer. It was like a whole month long process. I thought I would never get it, but I did. And I have to say, I finally feel like, that's why I feel like I'm finally crawling out. I know financially I've been struggling and switching jobs because I did have to, every change comes with it, ups and downs. But there was way more ups than downs. So I am officially a social media marketing specialist, and I will be working on many brands, creating content. So hopefully I'll learn some things, but I also get to implement everything I have learned and taught myself, because yes, they like everything I've done, and I'm ready to work with many brands. So I'm so excited, and I want to thank you all if you're listening. Thank you so much for listening and coming back. And I'm back on schedule. I have guests lined up. I'll be doing a lot of solo things. I really want to communicate with you guys more, talk more, just more. So yes, that is what's been happening with me, and I do apologize again if you have reached out to me and I've just been slow. It's just that I had to take care of my mental health. So take care of your mental health. I have to say, it does mess with everything in your life. And when you're able to take care of yourself, then you could take care of others, and you do such a better job. Just like when you're in the airplane and they tell you, if the airbags deplete, not airbags, those things that come out of the roof, if they come down, make sure to put it on yourself first and then to anybody else, because by the time you put it on somebody else, you might be dead. Or out of oxygen, and you will be unconscious. So think about it that way. So I know it sounds difficult to work on yourself, and it sounds so cliche. And if you have a job that you're not happy with, or that you feel disrespected, it doesn't hurt to look. Because I thought, hey, I'm going to look, whatever, let's see what happens. And I think I got really lucky, and I was able to find a place that works for me. And honestly, time flies because it's what I like. It's content creation, it's marketing, it's social media. So yes. And to those close to me that know what's been going on with my life, I just want to give, and even those in the pinned meetups, a big thank you to all of you. Even you listeners, again, you guys, I know I'm being repetitive, but I just really want you all to know that I love you all, and it means so much to me, the support that you've given me in the last year, even without you guys knowing. And thank you. So for today's episode, I wanted to talk about something that I feel like made me who I am, which is pinup contest. So I get asked a lot, what is a pinup contest? Like when I go to like the last 2 weekends, I've actually traveled, and that's why I've been all over the place. I actually traveled to host my first 2 pinup contests. This instance, a year and a half. So the last one I did was the Rockabilly Q in Immokalee in Florida. And then 2 weeks ago, I did Callahan Cruiser in Jacksonville. And I did Miss Ink the Bay in Tampa. So, what is a pinup contest? A pinup contest is, imagine, it is a contest, like a dress contest. Doesn't mean a dress. It just means, I just mean attire. So, an attire of vintage, retro, rockabilly style. That's what it is. So, you get rated off. And my contest, I make it super fair. I have practice from when I had no friends to when you have friends and contests. You know, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself here. But a contest is basically vintage, retro, rockabilly attire. And the contests I host are judged and crowd favorite. So these two are different. So you either have a judged contest, so you have judges and then they have a sheet, and, or, you know, it could vary, whoever hosted, whoever puts it together. But some of them might be a deliberation, so the judges deliberate on who's first, second, or third. Or there's like a score sheet, and in the score sheet, it has like hair 1 through 5, makeup 1 through 5, dress 1 through 5, overall 1 through 5. It's added up, and then the total number is tallied, and that's how I run my contest. I find it extremely fair because you're judging per category, per girl, and the girl's name is never on it. It's only per number, so the judges are always more concentrated and they don't play favorites. I also like to pick judges that are in different worlds. So you have a photographer. I like to always have like a photographer, the previous winner, a model, newspaper, magazine, those type of categories. So that's what I mean by different categories. And then I also have a crowd favorite. So I love the judges because in the judges, you know, if you have no friends, you don't have to worry about the crowd cheering for you, because that would happen to me and I would get mad when I'm like, man, I tried really hard to look pretty and it was just a crowd favorite. So it's only like a favoritism thing. I mean, that's how I felt. But then I've gone to shows that nobody knows anybody, and you could tell that from the crowd's reaction that they just went with a girl that was genuinely the best or genuinely giving an answer. So I like to provide both when I host a contest, because I feel like it gives the crowd a chance to interact with the girls and the judges a way to do their judging. And in no way do I influence anything. I just organize everything together. So while the judges deliberate, I always have like the crowd favorite, and I always ask somebody from the audience to come up. And then I pick somebody from the audience, usually the most enthusiastic person, because I know that they'll be up for the job. So, for example, this last weekend in Tampa, it was like a young kid. He really wanted to be a part of the show. So I first had him come up to help the girls up the stage, because I forgot to ask somebody to help the girls up the stage. You know, us ladies, well, some of the ladies there had really high heels. I was impressed. There was a lady there that had like these really high stripper heels, and she had a gown, and I was amazed. And she looked amazing. So I had this young boy help them up the stage, and then at the end I surprised him with, do you mind helping me with the crowd favorite? And he was like, oh yeah. So it really does like bring everything together. So I always have somebody from the crowd, because I don't want people saying Jennifer's rigged, Jennifer's ears suck, you know. So not that it's ever happened, but I like to always take precaution. So the crowd favorite, it's usually the loudest cheer, and I like to do like 3 rounds. So be like, let's see who was the loudest. We'll bring it up. do it again. And it really helps for the judges to deliberate, because some of the contests, like, I've had up to 35 girls in these contests, because I don't like rejecting anyone, because it's always like, there's some contests that I have to like pre-eliminate the girls, but most of them, they're at a car show. It's about being fun. So wouldn't you want as many girls as possible on stage? Just saying. And plus, the prettiest crowd. So, yeah, so from there, we just go lower and lower until we get, like, the grand prize. I'm going like this. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. But that's because I put my hand over their head and I'm like, hey, hey, hey. And it's so much fun. And I love it. So if you're in the contest, usually what happens, and I can only speak for my contest. I know I've been in a couple of contests myself. So if you enter the contest that's at least hosted by Pinup Miami, you will have a question, but I do give you a chance to pick out your question beforehand when you register with me, and I let you pick from 2 random questions and let you keep the one you want. So I like to give opportunities because, first of all, we're there to have fun, and if I take away that fun and make it super serious, you're just not going to want to participate. So I let you guys pick from a question. You pick one, then you keep it. You pick your number, again, randomly. You pick your number. So you have your number random, you have your question random, you get to keep your question. And you keep your question all the way until you go on stage. And then when you're on stage before the contest, I like to take a group picture because it's so nice to see like a bunch of girls all dressed together. And then when we go on stage in order, I like to call you out by name first, so you guys can get a little twirl or walk on stage, get those little jitters out of the way, and then go down the line asking the questions to all you ladies. And I have found that really relaxes everyone. It makes you have fun. And the number one thing, well, 2 things that I love the most from hosting Pinup, well, 3 things I love the most from hosting Pinup contest is, number 1, oh my gosh, I love seeing everyone's different styles. Like, you could have the rockabilly tattoo girl, the sailor, the classic, true vintage, rockabilly. You know, there's so many different styles. The glam, the Marilyn Monroe. It's like I love it all. I love it, and it's all together on stage. Second is, I have seen so many friendships being developed from these contests that it ain't even funny. I just love it, and I think it's incredible because, you know, when people hear contest, hear competition, like, I feel like Pinup contest is a different type of thing. It's about finding people in your same niche. And, I mean, in your own community, think about the people you hang out with if you're listening to this podcast. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure a handful of people around you do not live the vintage style or practice it or even enjoy it. So it's hard to find people like-minded. I know a lot of people that their best friends don't like it, but they come to the meetups because they get to, you know, do what they love. They go do contests. It's about just being able to be around others that love what you love. And the first time, well, after college, I went to a meetup event and I met other girls. But it wasn't until I truly entered a pinup contest that I met other people that I bonded with. So yes, pinup contest, friendships, heck, I'm an example. And I know other ladies, you know, let me know if you met each other at one of my contests. Like, I've heard stories of people telling me that were like, oh, we met you at Pinup Miami's contest down in Fulanoville. And so just let me know. I love hearing those stories and I truly appreciate it because it leads me to my third thing of why I love pinup contest is, I guess, which goes with the second one, is bringing people together. Not only on the stage, but on the audience. I could give a perfect example. There's a contestant called Brandy. She was a really early guest on my show. She's from South Florida. She's come to my meetups. Her name is Brandy Bravado. And I feel like she finally found a community of girls that love what she loves, and she brings her family too. So it like incorporates like family, the love that she has. You also bring out your crew to come cheer you on, your family, your friends, and they could see what it's about. Because if I were to explain to my parents, for example, I know I've talked about them a few times on the podcast. They're an example. Like, they don't understand the rockabilly lifestyle, including my sister. Excuse me. But they don't understand it. But they finally, after many years, came out. I'm happy they came out to this event. But they came out to the Rockabilly Prom, the Spring Fling. And get ready, because next year is going to be fire. Go to springflingdance.com. But you're going to have the Spring Fling dance, and they finally understood what it was. That's a more, like, it's, if you don't know what the Spring Fling is, I've talked about it a few times. I believe it's like a 1950s prom night. It's at the Gold Coast Trade Museum. So you're right in between all these vintage trains, and it is such a fun night. I'm hoping this next year, because it's going to be Valentine's Day weekend. So next year we're going to have bands, music, food, drink, and a hell of a good time. So yes, if you have any other questions about the pinup contest, if you're nervous in being in one, do you want me to make a series on, prepping for a contest, what judges are looking for, what you should prepare for, how to answer a question? Should I make it a series on my YouTube channel? I might. Just let me know. But next week, we are going to go a little more about social media, copywriting with Odalis, a local here in South Florida. So make sure you come back and check it out. And check out the Pin Podcast on Instagram to find out about future contests. Future guest. If you do want to find about future contests or events that I'm hosting, make sure to check out misspinupmiami.com and sign up for the newsletter. You'll be the first to know of every event that comes out, first episode, YouTube videos that are up. So yeah, you don't want to miss out on that. So thank you all for tuning in. I know I had a really long intro, but I just wanted to tell you guys why I've been missing out. And I am so happy that I finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. And if you're going through a rough time, just remember, you got this. And there's a will, there is a way. And what's the saying? This too shall pass. Keep that in mind. Thank you, and stay lovely.